Pittsburgh just became the #1 major metro in the United States for foreclosure starts, plus 162% year-over-year. 215 filings in April 2026 alone. I have active operations in this market. I'm watching this happen in real time. And I want to tell you about an industrial park in Pittsburgh that no bank wanted, that sat in REO for 11 months, cost its lender $230,000 in carrying costs, and taught every asset manager who touched it a lesson about what happens when you inherit a building with problems that weren't in the appraisal. Welcome back to REO Asset Autopsy. Last week we were in San Diego, dissecting a $4.2 million office building that cost a bank $891,000. This week we go to Pittsburgh, and this one is worse. Before I get into the asset, I need to give you context on this market because it's unlike anything else in the country right now. Pittsburgh's foreclosure surge isn't random. The steel economy that once defined this region left behind a complex landscape of industrial properties, warehouses, manufacturing facilities, and mixed-use commercial buildings, many with deferred maintenance, environmental questions, and ownership structures that go back decades. Pennsylvania is a judicial foreclosure state. That means every foreclosure goes through the court system, which means timelines are long, costs accumulate, and by the time a property reaches REO, it's been in limbo for a year or more. Lawrenceville is selling at $298,000 median with 7.3% appreciation. Mount Washington is at $312,000, up 8.1%. Squirrel Hill at $385,000. The residential market is tight. But the commercial and industrial market? That's where the distress is concentrated. Steelworks Industrial Park. River Avenue, Pittsburgh, PA 15212. A 45,000 square foot multi-bay industrial facility originally built in 1968. Steel fabrication, then warehousing, then a mixed-use light industrial operation. 100% vacant at REO transfer. Underwater by $900,000 before we even start counting carrying costs. Zero income from tenants. Zero offset. And then, the title search came back. This is the part of commercial REO nobody talks about in real estate YouTube videos. Environmental contamination. Phase 1 environmental site assessments. And what happens when a bank inherits a building that used to house industrial operations and the previous owner didn't clean up after themselves? The Phase 1 ESA flagged recognized environmental conditions. RECs in the industry jargon. Historical underground storage tanks. Potential hydraulic fluid and solvent contamination from the steel fabrication operations that ended in the 1990s. Nothing confirmed, but enough to require a Phase 2, actual soil sampling. Here's what that means for disposition. Your buyer pool just shrank by 80%. Any buyer who intends to use the building for food production, healthcare, or residential conversion is out. Any buyer who can't get financing, and most lenders won't touch a property with unresolved RECs, is out. You're now marketing to cash buyers with environmental remediation capacity. The lender had two choices: order the Phase 2 immediately, cost approximately $18,000, and face the possibility of discovering contamination that would require remediation in the hundreds of thousands. Or sell as is with full environmental disclosure and accept a deeper discount to compensate the buyer for the unknown risk. They chose the Phase 2. That was the right call. I'll explain why in a moment. While the Phase 2 was being conducted, which took 60 days, the clock was running. $631 per day. Industrial buildings are expensive to maintain in REO. Security is critical. Vacant industrial buildings attract vandalism, copper theft, and unauthorized occupants. Property preservation, $18,700. Repairs to roof and perimeter security, $145,000. Insurance on a vacant industrial with environmental flags, $14,800, nearly double standard rates. Property taxes in Allegheny County, $52,000 annually. Total annual carrying cost, $230,500. At 11 months in REO, the bank had spent approximately $211,000 in carrying costs, on top of the $900,000 UPB deficit. Total realized loss by disposition, approximately $1.1 million. Here's why the Phase 2 was the right decision, even though it added 60 days and cost $18,000. The Phase 2 came back with limited contamination, a small area of petroleum-impacted soil near one of the historical underground storage tank locations. Remediation cost estimate, $45,000. That's manageable. The bank ordered the remediation, got a no further action letter from the PA DEP, and now had a clean property to sell. Had they sold as is without the Phase 2, they would have had to price the property at a $300,000 to $500,000 additional discount to compensate buyers for the unknown risk. The $18,000 Phase 2 plus $45,000 remediation, $63,000 total, saved them an estimated $237,000 to $437,000 in price discount. That math always works. The lesson for every asset manager watching this: order your Phase 1 at REO transfer. Not when you list. At transfer. If it flags anything, order the Phase 2 immediately. Every week you wait is $4,400 in carrying costs on this asset. The environmental issue isn't the problem. The delay is the problem. Pittsburgh is producing 215 foreclosure filings per month right now. That's 215 assets like this one entering the pipeline every 30 days. The servicers and asset managers who have infrastructure, who can track every carrying cost, every environmental flag, every vendor invoice, every day in REO, will manage this surge. The ones who don't will be buried in spreadsheets while the clock runs at $631 per day. The Douglas REO Command Center tracks all of it, in real time, across every asset, for any market you operate in. Free 30-day trial in the description. Next week, we're going back to Southern California, a medical office in Temecula. And here's the twist. This one actually made the bank money in REO. I'll show you why that almost never happens, and what made this asset different. I'm Bruce Douglas. This is the Lender's Desk.